Hey guys, welcome back to the Say Wallahi channel. Today we'll be showing you how to make these beautiful, crispy, and yummy Somali sambuus. This recipe is simple and easy to learn, so just follow along. For the dough, start by adding 2 cups of all-purpose flour and 1 teaspoon of salt into a bowl. You can use any type, but I personally prefer Himalayan salt. If you're somebody who likes salty things, you can add more, but be careful not to overdo it because the meat will also have salt. Mix in the salt and flour until just combined. Then add 2 tablespoons of warm oil. Mix that in with a spatula before going in with your hands, but be careful not to burn yourself. After mixing the oil and the flour very well, you can now start adding water to your mixture, making sure the water is warm. Add the water gradually, little by little, because this makes sure that your dough doesn't get too soft. Knead that for a couple of minutes, getting rid of any bumps and textures until the dough is smooth. You can add flour if you feel like the dough is too soft, but add it gradually, just like the water. Making the dough is the hardest part in this recipe, and if you're not careful, you could mess up and have to restart the process. And I'm not gonna lie, this happened to me a couple of times and it was very frustrating, so be careful guys. But if you got it down, then good job. But we're gonna start on the meat now, so set aside your kneaded dough for a couple of minutes. For the meat, add ground beef into a pan and set it to medium heat, but don't add any water or oil because the heat naturally brings out water from the beef. Break apart the beef with a spatula before adding half a tablespoon of salt and mixing that in. After the salt is well incorporated, cover the pan for about 10 minutes or until you see the water starting to foam up. After 10 minutes have passed, you'll see that the beef has now stuck together, so go ahead and break them apart. This is because when you're forming the sambuus later on, you'll have clumps of meat which will look really wonky in your sambuus, and you don't want that. You want them to be fine and not in clumps. Cover the meat for about 5 to 10 minutes or until all the water is gone. We want our meat to be dry, so when we put it in the dough, it doesn't seep out or make our dough wet. Now we'll start adding the seasonings to our meat. All of these you can find at Trader Joe's, but if you don't have any of these, that's fine, just use any. Or if you're feeling classic, you can just use salt. But today we'll be adding black pepper, green goodness, and onion salt. Mix that in until just combined. Then you'll add finely chopped pepper and cilantro. The pepper is optional if you don't like spice, but I found that it enhances the flavor. We cut up 2 large onions, but only ended up using about 1.5. I would say always cut up extra onions just in case, because you can never be too safe, and you can always toss the leftover onions in the fridge. Now mix up the onions for about 5 minutes until combined and you're finally done with the meat portion. Cover the pan and turn off the stove because now we'll start making the dough sheets. Now you're gonna roll the dough into 6 even balls like so, and one by one you're gonna roll them out. Be sure to add enough flour onto the countertop so that your dough doesn't get stuck while you roll it. Set one rolled dough aside and roll another ball so that it is the same size as the previous one. Then add 1 tablespoon of olive oil and spread it across the top of the rolled out sheet. And finally, position the dough without the oil on top of the oiled sheet, making sure to fit all the corners. Then you'll roll out both of the sheets together, combining them. after rolling out the combined sheet, go ahead and cut it into 4 even pieces. And if it looks a little uneven, that's okay too. Put each of the 4 sheets onto a pan set to medium heat and let it sit for 3 minutes on each side before splitting them and turning them into 2 pieces. Now that you're done with the sheets, we're gonna go ahead and make the mixture that holds everything together. This is kind of like the glue that makes sure that everything sticks in place. Start by adding flour into a clean bowl and add 1/3 of a cup of water. The measurement honestly depends on how many sheets that you have, but for the texture itself, you don't want it to be too watery because then nothing will stick to it. In this moment, I made the mistake of adding a lot of water, so I had to go in with more flour. You can add more water and more flour depending on what your texture is, but make sure that it's not too watery or too thick because your sambuus will fall apart. Now that we're done with that, we're going to begin assembling our sambuus. You'll need your cooked meat, your mixture, and your sheets, a plate to fold the sambuus, and then a plate to put the folded sambuus. The folding technique is fairly easy. You'll just fold 1/2 and then put the flour mixture on top of that half. Then you'll fold the other half on top of the one with the mixture and hold it upside down so that the opening is positioned right on top. Then you'll add 1 1/2 or 2 spoons of the meat depending on the size of your sheet. Make sure you clamp all the holes shut because then once you put it in the oil will get inside and it will create a whole mess. This is a perfect example of a fold with no holes. Now you'll repeat the same process for all of your remaining sheets. Once you've folded them all up, fill up a pan with olive oil and set the heat to medium or high. Let the oil get hot for about 5 to 9 minutes, and once you see that it's ready, you can drop your sambuuses in there. Let your sambuuses cook on each side for about 30 seconds to 2 minutes, and then flip them gradually. When you're taking out the sambusa, make sure that you're using a spoon like this one so you don't bring over excess oil or burn yourself. Once you got your sambuus out of the oil, you can go ahead and set them on a tray or a plate of your choice, and we're finally done. I hope you enjoyed this video and found that making sambuus can be simple and fun. Let me know your thoughts in the comments and what recipes you'd like me to try next. Drop us a like and subscribe for more videos. Bye!